Everybody, welcome to Under the Radar MMA. I'm Jay Yoder, calling out of Lindsay, California. The co-host Juan Nunez, Cesar Gracie black belt, calling out of Caracas, Venezuela, is here. Today, we're going to discuss UFC Fight Night, Calvin Kattar versus Max Holloway. UFC 257, the fight Julianna Pena versus Sararh McMann. Juan's going to go over the move of the week, and then we're just going to talk some general MMA after that. Juan, how you doing today?
Excellent, man. Thank you for reaching out, and I hope everyone is doing well. And yeah, just getting ready for New Year's.
Great. Okay, so let's jump into we got a very good fight with Max Holloway, who most know, and we got an up-and-comer that's been killing it lately, Calvin Kattar, coming up for UFC Fight Night. Main event that's coming up January 16th. What do you think?
Well, to be honest, Jay, I believe it is an excellent matchup. It's going to be arguably one of the greatest featherweight fights in the UFC history because the intensity that both guys bring to the table. Max Holloway is known for the ability of taking punches and coming forward. You know, he has an excellent chin, and he knows how to do some boxing. He has an excellent takedown defense. However, Calvin Kattar is a very under the radar fighter that he's been very active for the last couple of years, and he is from my different point of view. He has one of the greatest jab cross combination in the entire MMA field. The ability he has to set up the distance management, he knows how to throw the punches and he knows how to connect those two. And that's the real question. Max Holloway, can he take those punches and keep coming forward? Or is he start working on lateral movement and bringing something different to the table? It could be start working for some shots, some takedowns, play differently because everybody knows who Max Holloway is and everybody knows how he fight. He always fight the same style. So I'm expecting fireworks, man, and I like the underdogs. I truly like Max Holloway, and he is Hawaiian. I come from a Hawaiian mixed martial arts, traditional martial arts when I was a kid. So I kind of like him walking out with a Hawaiian flag, and because I used to do my respect, my respect to the Hawaiian flag, and it was nice to see a Hawaiian dude coming out and playing the game and fighting well. But the Massachusetts fighter, man, the Calvin Kattar, which I personally trained with him way in 2007 at Cesar Gracie Academy. He was getting ready for his match at Elite XC when he was a small MMA franchise. They went out of business right after Kimbo Slice lost his fight against Petroselli. Then it was sad, rest in peace, Kimbo Slice. I hope you're in heaven. Anyways, man, that's what I think. I think Kattar can surprise, but I never count out Max. I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
Man, well, Max Holloway's got the big names from Hawaii. Hawaii always represents. They don't back down. Max Holloway, he's got tons of punches and bunches. He throws them. He mixes it up with his spinning kicks. Fun fact, Juan, I don't know if you know this. I think his first 7 UFC fights, he was discussing on the Joe Rogan podcast that he didn't have a stand-up coach, like a real stand-up coach. And he would play the first UFC video game, and he would play like Jose Aldo and one other guy, I forget, and he would learn the combos, and then him and his friend would go try with the pads, and he would try these spinning kicks off the jab, off the straight, and that's how he started. Obviously, now he has a striking coach, but No, big name, but he's going against an up and comer that I think is hungry. Max Holloway's had a lot of wars. Calvin, great jabs. You mentioned it, double jab, triple jab, and throws that straight right off of it. And then I like that after he starts setting that up, he starts to uppercut with right and left hand. Nice little uppercuts that he leads in. He's always going to press, stay in the pocket and press forward, which is going to be an exciting fight against a guy like Max Holloway who loves that, even points at the ground and stands last 10 seconds as he's done in the past. Ranked number 6 coming up, 22-4 with 11 KOs. He has a 77% strikes or headshots, where Max Holloway is like 74% significant strikes to the head. So this is going to be a head hunt more than likely. He has great KOs over Jeremy Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, which I believe Max Holloway also has 2 wins over both those guys as well. Max is his last win was in it was in July 27, 2019 against Frankie Edgar. He's coming off a loss against the champ, Volkanovski. I hope I pronounced that name right. And, it's going to be a great fight, man. I think it's just going to be a big stand-up fight. I think the one thing, maybe Kattar's got that energy and that motivation to come up. Max Holloway's been around. He's done these main events multiple times now. He's been through some wars, but never count out Max Holloway. But I do think that I'm going to give it to Calvin Kattar if I had to guess, just because he's an up-and-comer. Maybe I want a little bit of fresh blood, but I always love Max Holloway. But I do think that in his early fights, Calvin, once he started getting the straight and cross, would then get a little wild in the last rounds and start looping punches and get loose and just start going for the knockout. Exciting, because we all want to see a fighter finish it. But I noticed in his later fights, he's pulled that back in a little bit, which I think is good and smart because he was opening himself up a bit. Never got caught really, from what I've watched, but I think that's the one thing he has to watch for, because Max Holloway will definitely take advantage of that. Like you saw with Brian Ortega, you can't give Max Holloway much, but I give it Calvin Kattar. And I think no matter what, I think it's going to be a fucking awesome fight. Excuse my French, but I think it's going to be a great fight. And I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be a headhunt fight.
Thank you for bringing it up, man. Calvin Kattar, he has the uppercut, the right uppercut. He got a few guys in the UFC with it. Ricardo Lamas, that was the fight that put him on the map. He knocked him out cold, man. And then when he beat Jeremy Stevens, that's when you know that he was for real, man. And he's right there. He's a top contender in the featherweight division, and he always collected. He always on it, And I remember when he stopped by Cesar Gracie Academy. He even stayed at Cesar house in Lafayette, California. He was just a regular guy, maybe early 20s. He was stepping in the academy, working with Nick and Nathan Diaz on the side. He was working a lot of Jiu-Jitsu defense. I'm not saying like all the skill that he possessed on the ground and is because of the Diaz brothers. I'm not saying that. However, I'm sure they gave them a few point out different techniques that he could add to his arsenal of techniques, excellent arsenal of techniques. And I'm sure his boxing is different than the Diaz brothers. Different, maybe they want to, but not even. I believe. I trained with the Diaz brothers before, and I learned different skills with them. However, this guy's a different fighter, not even better or worse, just different, different style. I believe Diaz is more like an endurance athlete, they impose their will by letting their adversary hit them and then set up the pace, like Nick Diaz did to Mario Cerronsky, the Strikeforce welterweight title. Many other guys, including Nate Diaz to Gray Maynard at the UFC, their third bout between them. Calvin Kattar, man, don't count him out. He's a huge underdog on this fight, and he could surprise. And if he beat Max Holloway, he's right there for a title shot, no question about it.
Why he's ranked number 6. I believe Do you think this will be the title shot, the winner of this, or do you think there'll still be another fight after this? I guess it depends on the fashion. If he does win, how he wins. If it's a knockout, I'm sure he would be up, because Max Holloway's fought the champ twice and lost. So they're probably looking for another guy to jump in there. It could be him, but he's still number 6. So we'll see how high he jumps in the ranks. But we know it's UFC, so sometimes the rank doesn't really matter.
The interesting situation is the fact that the matters that Calvin took some time off. He, after 2013, between 2013 2015, I believe he didn't even fight. He took some time off, like a two years off, maybe doing like a fitness training, I don't even know, running, training, exercise, different, like resting and being active, different lifestyle. I don't even know much about him. I met him, I trained with him, I sparred with him. Very slow pace, and he wasn't even the same fighter that he is today. He was a young Calvin Kattar, the step in the gym, and he brought his skill. He was tough as nails when he was younger, coming forward, fighting, defending, very well versed at defending jiu-jitsu, and today he's a way different fighter. Still tough, and wishing the best, both of them. Max Holloway, on the other hand, one of the greatest fight of the UFC. It was when he beat Jose Aldo the first time. I remember that fight, man. That was a hell of a fight, man. Just action, freaking Jackson, man.
Yeah, and you can't, it's gonna be a great fight, and you can't really sleep on Max Holloway. He's been through them all. He's beat Pettis, Aldo. I'm just going through his schedule here. Ortega. Well, I mean, Brian Ortega, when Brian, kind of Calvin Kattar right now is kind of what Brian Ortega was when they met. He was this guy coming up, just seemed unstoppable. And then, Max Holloway jumped to the occasion and stopped him. So it can definitely not sleep on Max Holloway, but let's go ahead and jump over, unless you got anything else to say about that fight, Juan, but do you want to jump over to the UFC 257, the fight with Julianna Pena, the Venezuelan vixen from your representing the Venezuela. I don't know. I think she was born in America, or she born in Venezuela. I don't know, but definitely proud of her Venezuelan heritage. And she's fighting Sararh McMann. And it was originally supposed to be on the same card as Max Holloway and Calvin for UFC Fight Night, but it got switched. I didn't hear why. I don't know if that's been released yet, but they're definitely fighting a week later at UFC 257. What are your thoughts on that fight, Juan?
Thank you for bringing that up, man. First of all, I have a wrestling background, and I truly like wrestling. And Sararh McMann, she's a lady. She's a veteran in the mixed martial arts. She was fighting for a long time, and she went to the Olympics. She took silver in the Olympics in the freestyle wrestling, and trust me, it is very difficult to win a tournament to qualify to the Olympics. It is one of the most difficult things an athlete could do, just because of the fact of the matter is she went through hell just to went to the Olympics and win her silver medal. It deserves everyone's respect. Everyone's should give her attention, no matter what. I don't know, man. She's not the best striker, and she's not the best at jiu-jitsu. She needs to keep it right on the middle, because she needs to be very smart on her fighting style with her game plan. She could be very, very careful. She needs to be careful with her shots. She could win a decision, I believe. She could take her down, maybe do like a setup her high crotch, switch into a American football tackle, then hold her down a little bit, and then hold the biceps and set up a conservative ground and pound. Then win a decision. It could be a boring decision, but I believe that's what she should do to win the fight. Go ahead, proceed, man.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I got Sararh McMann winning this. Then again, never count out a Venezuelan, right, Juan? But Pena, she's always game. She's going to push forward. She'll take some punches to get that clinch, but a clinch against Sararh McMann is going to be different than her past fights. I think Pena likes to get on top on the ground. I like how she mixes up her ground and pound from the body to the head, and then she'll try to work a submission. But Sararh McMann is another story. It's going to be hard to get on top of her, and I imagine it's going to be the other way around. Sararh McMann, she's got 5 submission wins, 1 KO and 5 decisions. Her last win was on January 25th versus Landsberg. But she does have a sub loss, so Pena might be want to, counteract that wrestling with some submissions. But then again, I believe Pena, was it her last fight? I think her last fight. Yeah. She's coming off a loss to Jermaine de Radin. I always mess up the last name. Sorry about that. But she got submitted the last fight.
Jermaine, she's fierce, man. She's an amazing fighter. Yeah, she's out of her league, man. And I don't want to say anything negative about Julianna. I know she went through. She's a mom now, and I don't even know her base. I know she lives in Seattle, and I'm glad she's always working hard, and she's very, very crafty veteran on the field. She can throw some good boxing combinations. She's amazing striking, and she have a great jiu-jitsu. However, her jiu-jitsu is not like something, she's not like Mackenzie Dern or Valentina Shevchenko, because even Valentina tapped her out before, but she's decent on the ground, and I believe her jiu-jitsu is better than Sararh McMann. However, it's not a jiu-jitsu match. You and I know it's a ground and pound, and you and I know what we discussed before about how the sport jiu-jitsu doesn't work for MMA, especially now when the MMA is moving on, evolving with what happened to Jacare against Kevin Holland, getting knocked out from half guard with a hook. A small thing like that, we need to pay attention. We cannot do too much sport jiu-jitsu if we're doing MMA, because a good athlete that knows how to get off the bottom, defend an armbar, defend a triangle, defend a kimura, be a good wrestling base to not get swept. Yeah, that's all you need to know nowadays, just to be a good athlete and get off the bottom, do some wrestling, and make your neck and shoulders strong, and a good fitness exercise. But jiu-jitsu is always great to do. Just be careful with your elbows and be careful with your defense, and nothing but respect to Jacare, by the way. Nothing that he's a great jiu-jitsu and always will be, and he's a legend in the sport.
Yeah, and it's also like obviously you're the black belt here, but it's a black belt and a blue belt gi on the jiu-jitsu match, or even no gi, is a lot different than a black belt, blue belt in an MMA fight. Trying to do submissions, for example, if you want to talk about, if you remember, Anthony Pettis submitting Benson Henderson. At the time, Anthony Pettis was a blue belt, very good blue belt on his way up in jiu-jitsu, but submitted Benson Henderson, who was a black belt at the time. When you got punches coming, when you got the mix, you're looking for the knee, you're looking for the face, everything kind of changes. So as far as how this is going to win, I think a decision for Sararh McMann. Pena, though, she's beat some tough people, Kat Zingano, Jessica Eyes, who I think is on the same card as well. She squeaks out decision. She gets decision wins. She's not going to give up. She's not going to quit. But I don't know. I just think the wrestling is going to be too much for her. But what do you think, Juan? You're a black belt. You also have some MMA experience. When you're in there, is the submission always there? Or are you just playing how it feels, how it goes? If it's there, you go for it. But trying to go for, say, a triangle choke when you're on your back and there's an elbow right on your face, it changes the thing.
Yeah. Do you remember Firas Zahabi, which the Canadian dude? He was a coach, George St. Pierre and Rory McDonald.
Great coach, one of the best coaches, TriStar.
I agree. He's an amazing coach, and even he has a small podcast, and he talks sometimes about projects, different projects about the future. He's very, very into predictions, and he's very clever on predictions. And he mentioned that nowadays it is a different ball game. And I was listening to him careful, and then he said, nowadays you can find a good athlete that is just a blue belt, and he could compete easily against a black belt. And no one would be surprised about the outcome of the match, you know. So it just made me think about it, you know, like, all right, I agree until certain point, you know, because I remember when I was younger, when I was 23 years old, I was a blue belt. I was just rolling jiu-jitsu at Cesar Gracie with guys older than I, you know, like guys like Bill Hodder, you know, which is right now it could be easily 55 years old. He was like amazing grips on the gi, you know, like he grabbed the sleeve, he grabbed the collar, he put the knuckles on my collarbone. I was like, what the fuck, man? Pardon my French, man. You know, like he was very, very strong grips. George Albert, man. Oh my God, that dude, he looked like just a computer guy, amazing. Very, very nice guy. He was insane in jiu-jitsu against anyone, dude. He was great controlling, especially with the gi. With a no gi situation, I believe just the athlete situation, you could get away with that, right? You know, stepping out with a good defense and be able to play the game wisely, you know.
Well, and it's like you see a lot of like young wrestlers, really good wrestlers that come in MMA. You could tell someone just teaching them, keep those elbows in, don't put your arm here, don't open up, you know, all these little, how to basically just defend against submissions without having to like learn the submission. It's easier to almost to learn how to defend like simple submissions than learn how to do that submission. Easier to learn how to defend against an arm bar than to like not even to get in the arm bar, than to get an armbar on someone. And you see a lot of these young wrestlers, they just get those defenses in and they kind of play it safe, and it could make a little bit of a boring match, but little details like that are important in MMA, where as a jiu-jitsu match, the guy's going to wait you out and eventually get you. But when you get to the level of Souza and, Maya, anything's possible with those guys. They find a way, but I don't think this Sararh McMann fight and Pena fight is going to get to that level, but you never know. You can't ever count out Pena, but I think, once again, I say it, Sararh McMann's got it decision.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna step out of predictions today, but definitely, I'm glad you're doing it. What about Holloway and Kattar? Well, who would you choose the winner there?
Well, I already said it. I said I got Calvin winning it. Same, like, I don't know, it could go either way, but I got Calvin. Just I think he's got that up and comer, but damn, his fighting style against Max Holloway is what Max Holloway wants. Max Holloway wants that scrap, you know. So and Max Holloway's got the reach on him, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna go Calvin. I like what I see so far, and I think he's just got that motivation coming up. You know, it's a big fight for him, huge fight for him. So we'll see. But that being said, let's jump over to the move of the week, Juan. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen for you.
The move is basically a technique learned by a master, Jake Shields. I learned this sequence at the Pleasant Hill Academy, California. I believe it could be 2008. Anyways, I was breaking down a move. I want to see it from the beginning. Okay, high single. Then you walk your opponent against the wall, and utilizing the wall, the cage in this case, applying pressure with the top of my head against my adversary's chest. Then utilizing my shoulder on his thigh. Then I do like a small step with my left feet, and then I do the technique called running the pipe. Could be also called pulling the chain. I was telling the guys that were listening while I was teaching the move, utilize the wrestling pulls, you know, utilizing the forearms pressure with the grips hand connected. And it is like absolutely utilizing three pressure, shoulder, making sure our head is in the right position on the chest of our adversary. Then a small step, run the pipe, utilizing the pulls. Then we do like a small little transition. See, like I try not to telegraph too much. See how we push the leg. I push the leg, the knee of my adversary. Then I get side control. Then making sure the side control is switching right on time, and then do like a getting mount position, securing the mount position that Cesar Gracie teach. I believe is one of the greatest mount position in the game. You can check primetime Jake Shields when he dismantled Dan Henderson. He destroyed different adversaries. Ground and pound a little bit with and then switching to a basic arm block from the top.
Yeah, and this move is familiar to me because if you trained at El Nino Training Center with Juan when Juan was teaching me, but this is what they teach all over El Nino Training Center, where you take the single leg, you suck it up from your arms into your chest and really apply that pressure. And Juan, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a dirty white belt talking, but and then when you run the chain, it's basically like a little half circle, right, with that foot, just a little half circle to get them off balance. And as you see right here, your knees, bam, those knees tight together. It's all in the knees, just sucking that in and not giving them any space to pull that leg out. You see it a lot of times, those guys don't have it tight and that leg just comes out, especially when you're slippery with the sweat and everything like that.
Half circle is exactly what it is. I have been difficulties trying to teach even in Spanish. I make my students down here to learn English. I let them know, like I do, that the terminology is so precise, precision beat power. I make them do the homework, try to study what it means and try to interpret what it means, precision beat power. And then we need to be precise, not only in the boxing aspect, everywhere, man. Wrestling also, you need to be precise. Check it out. We're utilizing the wall, I have wrestling background. I don't have, never competed NCAA. I never competed. I did college wrestling out here in Venezuela. I did. It's very, very small. We only have maybe a total of 5 different clubs in different states that do wrestling. And it's different, yeah, you can check. I did some training at Stanford University, thanks to Alex Coriano and Travis Lee. That's where I truly took my wrestling to a different level, utilizing the wall. Yeah, you can surprise really, really good wrestlers. I'm doing wrestling against different guys. Could be from here, could be from anywhere, and if they don't do the wall takedown, they kind of freak out. They feel the difference, and it's not the same just regular wrestling and utilizing the cage in this case.
And Juan, we had our in episode 1. This is episode 2 of Under the Radar. In episode 1, the move of the week was the single leg, and you mentioned the head preparing for the guillotine. The head was kind of on the side, and I believe you shoot your ear towards the body. On this one, it looks like you have your head and chest. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. If we check the difference between the technique from last week. The last week, the first chapter was with the head outside, making sure everything is different. Even the similarity is we're doing a half circle, but the difference is when we're doing with the head inside, it is like a stepping in, utilizing the head against the chest. On the other side, it's we're just utilizing the hips, especially. With my adversary leg, I have my adversary leg on my groin, and then I utilize the lifts, the hips, and then pick him up. But anyways, in this case, it's different half circle, different technique, and there is so many details to work. There is always something to work, especially the difference utilizing the head on the chest.
Yeah, and I know we actually discussed this on the Water Tower podcast episode number 9, where Juan was a guest with me and my co-host Nick Milan. We when I trained with Juan, it was the fundamentals. It was like a basic, a beginner jiu-jitsu class, but man, and he would stress the fundamentals. And I remember being like, come on, get to the good stuff. Let's go. Cause I've trained before. I want to get to the subs, but man, the side control, my side control was never better. I mean, I could get higher belts in side control and just hold them there and just wait till they exhaust out, because Juan broke down. If you see here, he sucks them up. He gets once he gets on top of him, he gets the side control, and you see Juan even pull him closer. He corrects it and gets it sucked up. You get your right knee on the hip, your left knee next to the head, and just no space whatsoever. There you go. Suck him up right there. And by the way, just in case listeners aren't understanding what we mean by the half circle, or I think Juan, what did you call it? Pulling the chain, Juan, or what do you call it? Running the circle, running the chain?
Running the pipe, pulling the chain.
Running the pipe,
slash pulling the chain, slash everything else.
Running the pipe, pulling the chain. It's his right foot when he grabs the leg and he's standing. The right foot, you see, it swings a half circle, and that will throw the guy off because his leg's already taken, so he has no balance. But just in case viewers weren't quite understanding that, I want to make that clear. Awesome. Anything else you want to say about the move, Juan?
That for now, I'm done with the move.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, great. That's awesome. And hey, these moves are like excellent for like all levels, especially getting into jiu-jitsu, especially in Venezuela. You can see what you could get if you train with Juan. I mean, Cesar Gracie black belt, trained with Jake Shields a lot, Gilbert Melendez at El Nino Training Center in San Francisco, California. Spent many years there. I could tell you're missing out if you don't train with Juan, but let's jump back over. Let me turn this off. All right. So, Juan, we also, I believe you wanted to talk about Ryzen 26 coming up. Is that correct?
Definitely. I'm just want to follow up with the MMA. We're doing specific things in the MMA world. However, tonight is not only the last day of the year, but Japanese culture, Japanese MMA culture is a little bit different. They like to bring something different to the table, and since UFC bought Pride and took all the great athletes and took over, so I just want to get over with it. I was talking with different athletes, and they sent me a small message telling me that Takanori Gomi was competing today. I was a little bit, I don't know, uncomfortable saying like, yeah, this dude is still fighting. This dude is not, I don't know. But I'm glad the Japanese promotions, I'm looking out for him. I believe they're giving him a really good matchup. He's fighting a guy 20 pounds under. He's fighting a featherweight and he's weighing 170. So I don't know, man. I wish him the best. Whatever has happened, I'm sure that featherweight, he knows what he's getting into, because Gomi is known for being a good striker. However, his boxing is not like a technical boxing. He just swing wide punches, so he kind of leave his face too much in there, so the featherweight should be able to, see those punches, a little bit better, because we're not doing they're not doing ancient MMA. They're doing modern time MMA, even though it's in Japan. But whatever the rules meeting that they have between their commission, I hope whatever arrangement they're doing, I hope it's best for everyone. I don't know. I hope it's a good show. Ryzen, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't like them too much. I would rather follow up more with the UFC and follow up with specific fights, specific conference, specific techniques, whatever they're doing good for the sport, good different people like we did last week. We talk great about different guys. Conor McGregor is a great speaker, and he is doing much better in press conference, less insulting your adversary, just knowing what is just business. But yeah, let's see what happens tonight, though.
Yeah, and I don't follow up with Ryzen too much, but when a name like Gomi comes around, you competed to beat Gomi in a submission match, but I love that Japan's putting on the fights, especially for all the Japanese fighters to give them an outlet there. So far away from the United States as well, traveling, but just because Jiu-Jitsu originated from Japan, not the Jiu-Jitsu we really know, but if it wasn't for Jiu-Jitsu in Japan, there would be no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and um, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is where, what we know, what is you see mostly. There's still Japanese Jiu-Jitsu out there, but without Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, without Jiu-Jitsu flowing into Brazil and then becoming more of a self-defense system, it wouldn't exist. And maybe UFC wouldn't exist because that started, off with the Gracies. So I think as far as pride, really put MMA on the map too, and allowed all these Americans and Brazilians and people from all over these countries, Russia, Fedor Emelianenko, go over to Japan and gave them a stage to be who they are now. That helped grow MMA. So with, and then that helped the UFC come in, because we know that Japan was pulling, arena numbers that UFC still tries to compete with. They get it here and there, but man, the Japan fans, the amount of respect and the amount of people that would show up was huge, man. Was these huge promotions. And I think Pride really put the thought, I believe in, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe in Dana White and the Fertitta brothers' mind that, holy crap, this could be a huge moneymaker. This could be a huge thing. And so I think it's great that to see Japan still putting on fights. I know it's not Pride, it's Ryzen. It's not exactly the same. It's a bit different, but I'm excited that they still put on fights for these guys, because it's to me, it's the birth of MMA.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Another different thing is they're fighting under specific rules. Apparently, it's just a special bout. They're doing only boxing. I don't know, but kicking as well. If they say stand up, I'm sure they're bringing elbows and knees and kicks.
I believe it's just from what I'm seeing on the website, I believe it's just hands, because they also have other fights that are kickboxing. But for Gomi's fight, they say stand-up bout. So, but they're also having MMA fights on this card as well. And there's about 3 sessions, tons of fights. I'm gonna have to check these out. But yeah, we want to see Gomi do MMA. Let's be honest, or at least a submission match. But
let's keep it real. I mean, it is a high standard of safety and innovation what the Ryzen is trying to do. Takanori Gomi is a crafty veteran. He was a Pride lightweight champion, the only one Pride lightweight champion, and he knocked out so many different great athletes. And yeah, he deserved the right to showcase his skills and get a challenge. Definitely. So cool, man. He is doing it. He's still getting the challenge. I'm sure he's getting probably not like a high level challenge, but it's a challenge that somebody like he's getting up there in age. It's like you gotta be around 40 years old now, or a little, around 40. Anyways, man, yeah, I wish him the best, man. I hope he wins. Yeah, I don't like giving predictions, but yeah, this time I want him to get a to win-win situation. Still competing, and let's handle business, Takanori Gomi.
Yeah, I don't know. One of my favorite submission fighters of all time, Sakuraba, and coming out of Japan. And, like maybe Gomi, there's some fighters that you'll watch till the day you die. They could be 100 and you're going to watch. I drove all the way down to LA with my buddy Ray to watch Sakuraba in a grappling match against Renzo Gracie, the second grappling match. And it was a horrible match. It was very boring. I think there were some injuries involved, like the knee problems. Just to see them with my own eyes was amazing. So if you're a huge Gomi fan, you're definitely going to watch this fight. And like I said, they could be 102 and you're going to pay the respects and watch. But I'm excited. I'm excited to pick a couple of these. I already see a couple I want to watch on there. But all right, Juan, anything else in the MMA news you want to talk about?
Yeah, I would like to check maybe like on the topic we were talking earlier on Japanese mixed martial arts. Yeah, I would like to see them establish, like a specific brand that bring a different set of rules, like protecting the veterans of the sport, signing people out. Like I remember when Anderson Silva lost the fight against Uriah Hall at the UFC not too long ago. I don't want to. I will never say anything negative about Anderson. I believe that when he was prime time Anderson Silva, he was excellent by utilizing the distance management, how he destroyed his adversaries at the UFC. Um, but all I'm saying is that he was attacking Uriah Hall like he never did to any of his adversaries before. He used to be a counter fighter. He used to wait for his adversaries. Like if you watch his first UFC fight against Chris Levin, he was just collected, composed with an excellent guard, and he was just utilizing excellent boxing. His boxing is not Mexican. His boxing is not. Is I believe he's from Asia. I don't know exactly where. However, yeah, he was attacking too much. Raya Hall, he was just waiting and he landed. But yeah, my point, it is like Conor McGregor wrote a tweet. He said something like, "There is always a challenge. There is always a way to challenge yourself. You could be an athlete and you could be like a setup like at a different level. Your age, you can fight, you can compete, and you always gonna be uh, whoever you are. All I'm saying is like Japan is bringing that to the table. They're providing the chance to Takanori Gomi to provide to showcase his skills in the mixed martial art world and the stand-up, special stand-up bout. And yeah, I would like to see a guy like Anderson Silva, probably Chogun Rua, which he was amazing pride fighter.
Still fighting.
Well, say what?
Shogun Rua is still fighting. He just fought a little while ago on UFC. I was so surprised he was still fighting.
Yeah. However, yeah, I don't even know. I'm not sure he still have a fight under his contract. However, the UFC is doing like adjusting the difference, and they just want different new athletes. Especially with Kevin Holland and
Yep.
Joaquin Buckle. Those two new stars, newcomers in the middleweight division, and I'm sure they want to sign up and build them up, and but I'm sure Japan is taking care of their athletes. So there is always a way to if someone needs to still compete, they can excel the skills. Japan has the door open to handle business.
Yeah, and it gives a lot of opportunities. We see, there's corruption, a lot of corruption in Japan, with like the Yakuza and stuff like that, and steroid use in the contract from Pride days. But not like there's not corruption in every other country, especially America. And kind of speaking of corrupt promotions, I'm going to throw you a curveball here, Juan. We're going to talk a little boxing. That moves me to the circus of boxing of Mayweather fighting. Is it Logan Paul, Jake Paul? I get the brothers mixed up, but fighting. I believe it's Logan Paul. What have you looked into that at all? I'd be surprised if you have. Or what do you think of that? It's kind of like Ryzen setting up money fights. So I'm sure Gomi's making a big paycheck off this. Are these fights? Do they do anything for the sport? They get tons of views. They get, massive amount of views. You see even Mike Tyson coming back to fight Roy Jones. I know you mentioned Anderson Silva has been wanting to fight Roy Jones for years now. What's your thoughts on that? Is it bad or good for combat sports?
I believe it's excellent for combat sports. And I believe the UFC is made just for excellence. They just want the best athletes. They are clear, and in business, you and I know it could be cruel. Business is not meant to be to make everyone happy. However, that doesn't take anything away from anyone. I mean, like no one. If we need to educate the new generation of who is who. No matter who a newcomer is coming up. I'm sure everybody knows who the hell is Anderson Silva. Everybody knows who the hell is Shogun Rua. Everybody knows who the hell is Dan Henderson. Those different athletes, they have a rough end at the UFC, and they want to still compete. They have a way to handle business. And like I said before, Conor McGregor pointed out in an excellent, from a different perspective. He pointed out by saying there's always a way to remain competitive. It's something simple. Would you like to still compete? You could still compete and be competitive at a high level. Set up your deal, talk to promoters, talk to your agents, and handle business. Personally, I don't even wanna. It no matter what people believe. What does matter? What every different individual believe. What different athletes think about it. If Ronaldo Jacare and Anderson Silva would like to still compete, I'm sure they could get a contract in Japan. I'm not saying they're gonna run through the division, but they could be competitive. For example, let's say Anthony Pettis, he just terminate his contract with the UFC. He's leaving the UFC in an excellent situation. He just won his last fight in an excellent competitive bout. He won in a welterweight contender, and now he sent a letter. He made it public. He was just thankful. He had amazing years. He was the champion in the UFC. He embraced the belt, and then he moved out to PFL, which is a very, very high level competition at PFL. They take care of their athletes. I know that for a fact. They do. They work very, very careful. They're very careful with their specific commission, regardless of the state. And I don't even know the situation with the COVID-19, how they're going to play out. But they sign up Anthony Pettis and they sign up Fabricio Verdun. They both get off the UFC, and with a win. They're walking away from the UFC, still being athletes and being free agents, and signing up with PFL.
And I believe Anthony Pettis said it was the greatest day of his life signing with them. So we know they treat their fighters well. If he said to say that after fighting with the UFC for so long, we know the complications with the UFC contracts and fighters and how that's been an ongoing issue for way too long. But anything else you want to talk about, say, Juan? We're a little bit over an hour now.
I think we are ready to wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for once again joining in. People from Venezuela, from America, from wherever you're watching. Thank you for checking us out. Under the Radar MMA. We're going to start splitting up the move of the week for Juan. We're going to start sitting out as clips. I'm going to do every episode. We'll have a move of the week, but then we'll pull that out as a clip the following week. So if you just want to run through all the moves of the week one day, you can as we progress over the weeks. Once again, this is MMA under the Radar MMA. This is Jay Yoder calling out Lindsay, California. Juan Nunez, Caracas, Venezuela. Cesar Gracie, black belt, saying farewell.